The following is a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. Hollywood Redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is Black Hollywood Live, the Black Tea Party, featuring weekly discussions on political news and current affairs. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood Redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host of Black Hollywood Live, the Black Tea Party.
Do you hear something? Oh, here we go. Ooh, I think we're on the air now.
So we're already started?
Yeah. One of my favorite
Hey, guys.
joints.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, I love this man. Well, that was a little
She
unexpected.
said, I love this man.
Oh my goodness. We always start with Marvin Gaye.
Yes.
I know.
Well, welcome to the Black Tea Party, where we are black for the most part, and we drink tea. So we are not the tea party, but we're just black and we drink tea. And every now and then we have a little cream in our tea.
What's up, guys?
It's going to be a great night tonight. Over here to my left is the lovely Stacy.
Hey, how you guys doing?
That's right. Stacy, you want to give them your Twitter handle so they can know where to find
Oh
you from the
yeah,
top?
you guys tweet me during the show. I have my
Yeah.
phone out this time, so at one take stays.
That's right. And then to my left, my right,
You're right.
my other left.
Stage right?
Yeah.
No, stage left. There we go.
Yes.
I can never get that. I don't know that stuff. Hey, guys, what's up, Mike?
Mike, and what can people tweet you? Because we can talk through the show, right?
At Michael Teemant. Look on the screen because you're not going to get it. MIHKELTEEMANT.
That's right. And then
So.
sitting to my far right is a special guest tonight, Nikki Frankie Holloman.
It's Nina.
Nene. When I said Nikki,
Yeah,
I
it's
was going to
okay.
butcher it, and I practiced it, didn't I?
You did.
I was so focused on Frankie that I just butchered you, Nina, and called you Nikki.
Nina. That's okay.
That's all right.
No problem.
Because
It's
the
all
essence of
good.
the woman is still in the
That's
room.
right.
That's
That's
right.
right.
You're
Love
a
it.
social worker, you're an activist, you work with women, you have an organization for...
Yes, a non-profit organization that builds affordable housing called WORKS, Women Organizing Resources, Knowledge, and Services.
This is good.
Nice.
And that's my job that I guess my passion. And then
Okay.
my serendipitous thing that I do is I create organic body products and by the name of Booty Butter. And it's an all-organic sugar scrub and that you can actually eat.
That is
I don't-
crazy.
You ever want to
On
wash
the
yourself
Black
and
Hollywood
eat it
Live Black Tea
afterwards?
Party, can you
It's right
eat
there.
some booty butter?
I just
Yes,
don't.
yes.
I don't know how to take
Yes, and I
that.
have samples, so I could.
You have samples?
Yes, I do.
You have to give a sample before
Yes.
this is up.
Oh my gosh.
And I want to taste the sample of the booty butter, so when I say I
Yes.
taste booty butter, people don't think I was tasting on somebody.
Don's going to do some creative things with this booty butter. You don't even know.
This booty butter word could be
I
very.
just if you're going to taste booty butter, you better do it with an open audience so people will know how you've been doing it, right?
Funny.
Keep the character intact. That's what we're going to do. Booty butter on TV.
Yeah, and Twitter handle is
That's
at
funny.
Booty Butter.
That
It's
is funny.
BOOTIEBUTTAH.
Wow.
Booty Butter.
Wow. We are missing Rome more, but we're going to dive right into it tonight. And one of the topics we're going to deal with is really broad and it's kind of ambiguous. We were talking about it a little bit before the show. But wondering what your take is. And and Mike, you're even going to be in this conversation.
Oh, God.
You better be in this
Fasten your
conversation.
seatbelts. Return your tray table to the original upright position. Turbulence ahead. Here we go. Right?
I signed up for this. It's okay.
You did. The question today is, what does it mean to be black? From a colored perspective or black perspective, and even from a white perspective.
Okay.
That's fair, right?
Yeah, no, it's fair.
Uncomfortable, but fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna toss it to the ladies because I think, I just think a lady should go first on this.
Okay. I stand in three places. I'm Puerto Rican. My parents are from Puerto Rico. So I have the best of three worlds: Castilian, Spanish, Taino, and Africans from Africa. And when I moved here from back east, New York City is my home, from Manhattan, Spanish Harlem. Wow. I came to California unbeknownst that there were many Hispanics, but not like me. And many times I'd been in a position where people were speaking Spanish. I'm fluent in Spanish and understand and speak and write and was being talked about.
They didn't know that
They
you spoke.
didn't know I spoke Spanish.
Yeah.
And to this day, I do not let people know that because it's just kind of like a little bit of
Just let it
voyeurism
out
on
of the
my
bag
part.
now. Now everyone knows.
Say what you really think.
Yeah.
Can we edit that out, guys? No.
That's
That's good. I wish it worked in those nail salons when they get to talking about the.
Stop.
No, really. When they go there, I just want to say. You know, I want to just go back.
That was not Michael Teemant, just to be clear.
No, but I know the feeling, so that's a great feeling.
Yeah, and there's almost when I start doing that, it's almost like a little trepidation because you don't know what people are going to say.
Yeah.
And you're just waiting for the bomb to drop. And many times, as a Latina and as an Afro-Latina, I have been in situations where I'm always asked to this day, "How do you speak Spanish?" Well, how do you speak what you speak? I mean, those questions are just so ridiculous. How do you speak English?
Right.
I mean, and it's always the assumption that a black person, we come from many places. We're dropped off all over the world, that don't speak anything but English. And I think it's appalling and ignorant that you would assume that just because someone's black, they don't speak another language.
It's very good. That's good. Wow. I'm gonna jump the pond because we have someone else that is a woman of color, but your ethnicity and your nationality is.
Yeah, I'm Nigerian by blood. My parents are both Nigerian. So there's always when you're younger, at least for me, I grew up in Houston, Texas. So you get a little bit of everything there. But where I grew up, I always had complexity of feeling black versus Nigerian. And now I'm older, it's like, it's all one thing to me. But at that point, I was very different, quote unquote, from my black friends because they made that very clear to me. You African and you probably this and you climb trees. And I'm like, I've never even been up. I don't even like heights. Like, I'm thinking, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? You sleep with the animals and tigers. I'm like, I never seen no tiger, like stuff like that. I've literally heard it all. I've heard African booty scratcher. I've heard things that an 8th grader just should not hear. Wow. So it's a very different time. Now the insults are geared towards another thing, and which is unfortunate. But, there was just always that. I hated some of my black friends. I hated them. And it's so funny because now I have a lot of black friends who we have these discussions, and at that point they're like, we want to talk to you as a Nigerian, not as just our friend. We want to talk to you. It's very funny because they want to know, like, as a Nigerian, are there some things that we do differently or blah, 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 and we have those talk. And it's very interesting because according to the world, this doesn't matter. We all look the same. We're all, no one's breaking down nationality. But sometimes when you get within that color, there's a lot of divide there.
It's a color within a color.
It's a color within a color. And if you're on the outside, you don't necessarily care or pay attention because it all has the same shade. Just like three of us sitting here, no one would say, oh, she's Hispanic and blah, blah, blah. She is Puerto Rican. No one would say that, And some people would, but for the majority, So that was mine.
It's interesting listening to you ladies talk about this because you're responding to the question of what does it mean to be black, and yet the expression is the resistance, the lack of acceptance, the poking, the making fun of, the negativity. But is that the identity?
Absolutely not. I would never say that. Yeah, I would never say that. I think it's starting from the beginning of our stories, our separate stories, but the beginning and growing to what I personally learned it to being black because I didn't know. I was raised by parents who, they weren't necessarily the type of people that were like, we're black, so work 10 times harder. You just worked 10 times harder. It didn't even matter. And that might be the Nigerian part, that might be the Texas part. I don't know. Okay. But, then you go into a different environment, you learn something else, and you keep getting older. It's funny now, when my parents came to my college graduation, they were like, wow, you have a lot of black friends. I didn't have black friends in high school. Not on purpose. It's just the environment. The environment kept changing. So I was always the girl with the Asian friend, the white friend, the Hispanic friend. I had every other friend. I had a lot of Nigerian friends and black friends, but it was just always a huge mix. But when I left college, I was in NABJ, the Black Association of this, and that's when I felt like I got my encompass of what it meant to be black. Not that was the only thing I identify with, but I was so much more comfortable with it at that point. So that's just for me.
Okay.
And I would say, what does it mean to be black? What does it mean to describe a sunset? All things.
Yeah.
All things. I like that.
I wouldn't even, if I could, I don't believe in reincarnation, but if I could come back 1,000,000 times, I wouldn't choose anything else. I mean, the melange of experiences and what my people bring to the table, and the ability to eat rice and beans and fried chicken is a wonderful thing.
Rice and beans and fried chicken.
Yeah, and fried chicken.
That's
you know,
funny.
Cuban food and plátanos and all of the things that make up, you know, my culture. You know, and I couldn't, you know, this is really funny. When I first came here from New York City, in junior high school, there was a race fight. And my black friends were chiding me, well, what side are you going to choose? And I said, well, what do you want me to do, split myself into 3 pieces? Because I'm not choosing. I'm not choosing.
Yeah.
This is who I am, and I embrace each part. It's delicious. You know, I can't, yeah, I can't say that, you know, oh, you know, I'm ashamed to be black. You know, why not? You know, why not? I mean, the legacy, the things that make up, you know, what blackness is so rich. And then we get this foolishness, this booty popping, and, you know, this I call it a funk.
Well, wait a minute. We're going to come back. We're going to come back to some of those ethnic expressions, because I think that's a great topic. But I want Mike to jump in on this. I mean,
Before you?
No, before me.
Okay, Don said
just
this. This is
stirring
the
the
white guy say.
conversation.
Well, it's always been weird to me, because, like, I never, until people started when I was older and I kind of started understanding people were talking black and white, it wasn't like that. This was like, okay, I grew up with the Cosby Show. I grew up listening to hip hop as a kid. It was on the radio on the bus. So to me, that was just city culture until I got old enough for people to correct me and say this is black. I never really understood what it meant to be black, because I had friends who were like rednecks and black. So like,
That's interesting.
but that's the thing. Are they less black? I didn't understand it because we don't have the equivalent for white. We don't go, oh, I mean, I guess comedians will go, white people do this, but that's weird to me because but white people break it down by ethnicity more. Like, it would make sense. Like, I have friends from Africa, and they make fun of each other from being from different parts of Africa. It's not you're black and I'm black or less black. It's you're Ethiopian and you're Nigerian. Something like that. It's not, and that's what white people kind of have it, but it's more like, you're English, and that means you eat bangers and mash and listen to the Beatles. Like, I mean, I got Irish drink too much. Let's keep going down the stereotypes.
You're just wearing them out tonight.
You're French, you can't fight a war. Let's keep going.
See, now, and I don't mean to say and sound ignorant, but let's say you're talking about white Americans who might not have the German or Irish, or I don't know. I mean, does everyone have something associated outside?
Kinda.
Of? I think so. Okay,
I think so. I don't know. Like, I don't have a strong some people think it's bad. I don't really get nationalism that much, even from an American standpoint. This is just where my parents had sex and I was born. That's it. Really, I don't understand what's so proud to be. That's where I was born. What you make of yourself to me is the important thing, not where you were born.
But I think some people do take. I think some people do take pride in where they were born. Sure. But I think more than just pride in where you were born is that there's a sense of identity that's embraced from where you were born.
Sure.
I know, but I
mean, again, and we've talked about this before. I mean, for example, from Nigeria. Nigeria is a part of home. It's home, right? It's home for you. And I don't know what you would call home. I don't know if it would be the Latino.
Well, I call home Los Angeles now. I mean,
that's what I'm talking about right there. Like,
home is. Home. I think you carry home in you, and wherever you are, you bring home.
Yeah, but we come from a culture where, and we have a history that says this isn't your home. Because of the color of your skin. So where is your home? It's not Nigeria.
Well, my home. I actually retract my statement. My home isn't Nigerian because I wasn't born in Nigeria. If that's how we're looking at it.
I get you.
Or if your parents are not, either way to me, like, okay, I'm half Estonian. My dad's full blood Estonian. And to me, I'm like, okay, I've looked into it. I think it's cool, some of the things, but I just don't, and some of my cousins and stuff are totally into it, like going to Estonian things. There's like an Estonian group up in San Francisco that my cousin goes to with my aunt. And so they go do things, which is cool, I guess, but I don't understand. I've never understood it with Jewish people, Indian people. I've never understood we're going to be so inclusive. Because I think, but part of that is, especially you see it with immigrants more than the next generation. The immigrant generation, and it's because they're scared and they're in a new place, things like that. But where my grandparents came, there were no Estonians. Most of you out there probably don't know what Estonia is. It's a country in the Baltic states. You might have heard it. The only way people ever know is they've seen Encino Man, and they tell everyone he's an Estonian exchange student, and most people go, oh, I thought they made that up. Like, that's how small Estonia is. So when they were moving around the country, there was no Estonian group to go to even.
Yeah.
So,
well, but here's this. At least there's Estonia, right?
Sure.
Okay, there is no black.
No, but
that's weird.
But why does it? Okay, this is my question. Why does it have to be like? I'm totally pro genealogy. We should learn where we come from. We should look into cultures. Totally cool with that. I don't understand why it really matters. I think they're looking deeper into something.
It's just like, have you ever known anyone who doesn't know their birth parents?
Yeah.
And there's just something that they want to know, so they can kind of go back where I came from. What's the substance? What's the essence of that? And
I get that.
It gives life. It gives clarity of identity.
I get it. Doesn't though. Who I am has nothing to do with my grandparents really. Like my parents have more to do with me, and the more removed I feel like I'm not.
Yeah, and I think that's
I'm different.
I think that's a different worldview because I mean honestly. You and no offense, you can walk into any establishment. And
no, I know those things. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
Yeah. But I said because of the color of your skin, it's cool. People are guessing. You know, oh, is he Mexican? Is he Irish? You know,
they say white. They guess white.
They say white all day.
Okay, and then I walk into a place and it's automatically you're black, and I can't take this off and put it somewhere. I wish I could sometimes.
I think that's more the media than it is.
Let me be transparent. But I mean, it's happened in. I mean, I've gone to restaurants. Riding up the coast, I'm going to Santa Barbara with a bunch of my friends. We get lost. This was before the advent of Waze and all this stuff. We have Thomas Brothers maps, okay? And we are lost, and it's dark, and I'm like panicking because it's starting to rain. And I stop the gentleman at the gas station, and I tell him, this is crazy. I said, sir, we are lost. Can you give us, can you show us the way on the road? We were just on the back of Santa Barbara somewhere.
Yeah.
And he looks at me and says, there's a Sambo's up the street. And I said, pardon me? And at first, because back east there was a Sambo's restaurant, but that was like back in the day. So I wrestled with, okay, is this man being funny because I'm black? Or is he being helpful? And it's always that thing in the back of your mind, is a person going to be accepting?
He thought that's what you're looking for?
Because I am who I am, because what you see or the conversation that we're having, am I going to elicit a response, a human-to-human response to me without you even looking at this?
Don't you feel that a lot of that goes back to that problem though, is that we're too quick to go, I'm this, and people, and I think people play into that. I think not to segue to the media, but the media is the biggest perpetrator of that.
Yes, I agree.
But I mean, you got to deal with the reality that people have been told because you are this.
Yes.
Or you're fat,
that's an automatic
but you don't
you're
think
skinny, or you're. I mean,
sure.
I'm a big woman, and I've not been given a job. I mean, literally, homeboy told me, we just can't hire you because you're just too big. Really?
What the hell was the job?
It was a receptionist job.
What was the settlement?
Yeah, it was a receptionist job.
That's the real
This
question.
was like back in the day, and it was at a
nonsense.
plastic surgeon's office. And he, first of all, he looked at me and said, have you any work done? I said, no, this is all of this is, this is it. This is who I am.
Wow.
And then he says, well, no, you're kind of cute. I'd hire you, but you're just too big. And I mean, I left out of there shocked. I didn't even know what to say. It's like, that's a new one,
That's Los Angeles, though, right?
Yeah, that's LA.
Los
And I can
Angeles.
tell you're not from LA because I would look and say, well, can you suck some of it out? And I'll be the work right after I heal.
But it has
That's
happened.
LA for you.
Yeah, it has happened. So I mean, it's like you don't know how people are going to come at you, and you may not even have those thoughts.
Right.
But they're resident, and that's the problem. That they're resident. They sit, they linger, and you're wondering, is this individual going to just accept me human?
But this is a part
And
of
I
who
think-
you are as a black woman, though, or a woman of color.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think going off to Michael's point, which I understand what you mean overall, and I'm not even trying to dumb down what you said, but
I have weird views on that too. I think countries are a dumb concept. I think it's so dumb. But okay, anyway.
I think where you're living though is like
it's dumb.
Is Lucky Charms fairy tales, because it doesn't make sense for people to walk around not identifying them. Because I would say, at the end of the day, with all of these beautiful comments, I would 100% say I am Nigerian to the that. I have to be proud of.
I'm Estonian.
Yeah, like,
I don't.
No, you don't. You barely believe you're Estonian.
No,
though.
I know I'm Estonian. It's not a question of if I'm Estonian. It's just it's nothing.
But hear this: you have a flag of Estonia that you can wave. You have a Nigerian flag you can wave. I got to wave this black shirt, and it means nothing. It's not attached to a land.
Yes, where your origin is. I mean, I guess I'm talking because I know where mine is.
It's actually right here in America. That's my origin.
That's what I'm saying.
But America has told me for years that it's not my origin. America doesn't have a cultural identity that it celebrates or that it identifies, that says it embraces you.
But
it doesn't.
I don't think that even I don't think that.
I don't think that's necessarily true.
I don't think it ends at just being black, because the confusing thing is there's so many other people, including immigrants and other cultures, who have, come to America and made this their home, but are they also in that conversation of not being included?
I think they have been in that conversation of not being included. I'm just talking about the black people right now. I can't talk about everybody else. I think that when the Latino comes in and she speaks, or he speaks, they speak from Latin country, Latin soil, you know what I'm saying? And that makes sense. That's a home, that's an identity. But if I look and turn to Nigeria, I can't go to Nigeria and then be accepted.
We would totally accept you.
You accept me.
See, I think, but around the world, it's a little different than here, too.
Yeah.
So we got to remember that. I have a friend in Mexico who's accepted by the Mexicans there. They love him.
Well, it's interesting because the first time I went over to Mexico as an adult, I crossed the border, and I came back and I didn't have any gel in my hair. I was driving, so I had taken my cap off and my hair was all over my head. They pulled me over, and they held me at the border for about 2 hours questioning me. It threw me. Well, when I went across the border, it was the first time I saw a dark-skinned Mexican who literally looked like me.
Yes, and there are many. And
when you go back east from where you come from,
there's white. Look, that's the thing. It's dumb. Yes. Some Mexicans have way light skin, and you don't. I have a friend Julian who you would think is white, except he's Mexican. And so that's why. Let's start where the race thing started. It was a way white people could let other people feel okay with owning slaves. That's how it started. It's a fake concept. It's melanin in your skin. That's all it is. It's a color.
It is, and it would be so beautiful.
Wants to get it in the I'm just saying some can be too.
But don't you think education's the way to get around? Like, I don't mind celebrating culture either. I think it's cool to learn about Estonia and everything. But
education is key.
Subjective.
But affirmation goes a very long way.
But okay,
I think there's something to say to begin to celebrate the ethnic identity of all cultures that make this melting pot.
And I think it's impossible, first of all, to disregard the melting pot, for one. And I think it's also impossible to depend on education, because education can be very subjective. If a teacher decides she's only going to teach me about the first 54 pages, I'm never going to learn the last 20.
That's what we have standards.
Well,
and Republicans are trying to get rid of that. So
I think a lot of people break those, though. I mean, I'm sure I was blessed with a lot of wonderful teachers. Miss Lollendorf, you're the best history teacher ever. She's literally from like 9th grade people. I love her so much, but that's not the point. If she decided not to teach me the last 20 pages, who knows what I would have missed or whatever.
Well, I mean, that's everything in life, though. I mean,
that is.
What if I just missed that one class? I would have fixed everything. I mean,
I know.
But if she knew that the last pages represented her.
That's what I mean. I'm just saying there's so many different.
And I'm probably way older than everyone here. I'm 53 years old.
Yes, baby. And see, and that's why that don't crack.
That thing don't crack. Look at that.
I'm telling you.
That's
booty butter, guys.
Thank you, God. Booty butter.
He said booty butter.
Yes. And I'm telling you that the things we learned in history was nothing compared to when I went to Puerto Rico and I've traveled abroad, and I've learned things that were not unbeknownst to me. And I had to go, well, wait a minute. Why wasn't this taught? Why wasn't this shared? It was almost this thing, oh, woe is you. You were slaves. Okay, now after that, then I mean, there's a whole rich dichotomy of all types of things that I could have learned
that we need to
and
teach.
I sought out. You know,
It's a characteristic of the perpetrator, to be perfectly honest, to keep you ignorant of information that would empower you and that would affirm you. I mean, they did it with the Bible, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You know, when blacks couldn't read, they'd say, "Slaves obey your masters." See what that say right there? Because that's all they wanted you to know. Because that's all they really.
No, I know, and that's always been my question with a lot of black people being Christian, because it was used to oppress them in a way. But besides that, that's fine.
Don't start messing with Jesus.
I won't start messing with Jesus. No, but that's the problem, though. We're not learning that stuff. Everyone else, like other countries, they learn the dark stuff. Hey, you know what? This is where we screwed up.
Yes.
Germany doesn't totally not talk about the Holocaust. They go, this is what we can never do again.
Well, America
and we don't even talk about slavery. The most we talk about is slavery was legal until 1864 when it was abolished. And that's kind of where we leave it. Around college, we go back to it, and if you want to learn more, you can.
We have some faded out pictures of people that we have.
True. No, we don't even learn about Frederick. I learned about Frederick Douglass on my own in high school. I didn't learn it from a book. I learned it, well, I read it from his narrative.
And then we should give you a medal for that as a white boy.
I just read a lot, dude.
And you're
I'm
still
saying
the
that's
same.
good self-taught about the black people. That's good.
I think some of these topics are really good ways to transition into the article that you put us on Facebook.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is very, very interesting. And I have been very passionate about that for a very long time. Do you want to kind of hit that, Michael?
Yeah, let me bring it up. But overall, it's the question of what... It's almost one of those, which came first, the chicken or the egg? It's like, what came first, the stereotype or the perpetrating of stereotypes?
Sure.
And the way the media, hold on. Damn it.
The title was the way the media like overrepresents black men in prison.
Yeah.
Right.
And, I mean, that's one of the main rules. I can talk from I have all kinds of comic friends who have jokes because that's who they're typecast almost every casting call. You're going to be a thug. You're going to be a... And so when you have a bunch of, basically the article boils down to this. I'll bring it up as I go. But it comes down to this: like, if all you see is black thugs, what do you think is going to be cool? What do you think? What are you trying to tell young black men?
Yeah.
And at the same, and where are the superheroes for them to look up to that have good morals and things like that?
Totally agree. Totally.
Which we're finally getting I mean, okay, let's go nerd. There's finally comic books with black characters in them and stuff. How come this hasn't existed for a while? We still don't have. Wait, who's the? Oh, they just came out with it. There's a black female superhero finally.
Oh yes.
Like finally, I read about it, and I'm not good enough with comic books to know who
I
it
mean,
is.
it's just like when the first black.
But I had lots of heroes to look up to. I had Superman and Popeye. You see what I mean? Like, I mean, it sounds silly, but
Star Trek. You know, we had what was her name?
Although Michael Dorn was awesome in Star Trek Next Generation, he was black.
Well, that was back.
He is black. He's alive. What am I doing?
Well, I mean, don't you think that's a very interesting point, Michael? Actually, and I'm thinking, is that like a reality thing and another perspective of where America has been in regards to media, in regards to race, in regards to segregation, that kind of thing? I mean, you had those people to look up to because that's what was hot. You were hotter to look at.
That's
I guess
what was put before you.
That was put before you.
The
that
stereotype was put before.
And look who runs Hollywood. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
How many black? It's less than less than 8% or something like that. It's really low for minorities. Not even white. Not even black.
But are you saying that there is some sort of intention?
I don't think it's
to put the stereotype up and out so that it conditions the mindset of a certain demographic of people.
If we want to get academic, I think what happened is there was a lot of systematic dumbing down of the population for white people to feel okay with where we were putting black people through, like gerrymandering laws with rent, all these things that held black people back for a long time. Okay? Once we started to get rid of that, there was a huge poverty gap. And that's where crime takes place, by the way. Poverty. It has nothing to do with race. When poor people can't eat, they turn to other means. Every documentary I've ever seen about prostitution, gun trafficking, drug trafficking, all those things have nothing to do. You can find around the world. It all has to do with poverty. And then, so now who are the pimps? Who are the gun dealers? Things like the poor people in the poor neighborhoods who happen to be black and Hispanic because they've been oppressed for so long.
Well, I mean, I'd say
that's the really complicated.
I say this. I was born in Spanish Harlem. We were poor. My grandmother would say, you may be in this place, but you're not of this place. I've been told that since I was a child.
Yeah.
Most of the people around me were poor. They weren't thugs and criminals and pimps. Okay.
No.
You know, they.
No,
they
not
were
most.
people-
I'm not saying most
I
either,
know you're
just to
not-
be
yeah,
sure.
well, I'm not, you know, painting anything with a white brush. But I'm saying is that you start believing the hype. I mean, I out of the people that raised me, the people that I knew, they were hardworking people. They were people of means and internal substance, you know. So, you know, if we got to work 70 jobs, okay, we're not going to go and beg. We're not going to knock anyone over the head and steal. I mean, I think it's a part of who you are and the pride that you have in whoever you are, your family name, whether it be your culture, whatever, okay. And living in doing social work, okay, I found that a lot of people have this internal fortitude that they're not going to do X, Y, and Z to get over. They're going to do whatever they have to do. Yeah. I think that poverty is a mentality. Okay, and it's a mentality, and it's something that you tell people over and over, and oh, you're poor, you can't do this. Oh, you're poor, you know, it's like a mantra. And I would say
it can be a reality.
It is a reality. I am not saying by any means that, you know, your social circumstance doesn't cause things to happen, because it does, you know. Yeah. But what I am saying is that you start drinking the Kool-Aid after a while. You know, if everyone's telling you you're this, you're that, you're no good, you're poor, you're broke down, of course you're going to believe it. And everyone's internal fortitude is not as such where they're going to come up out of that. I mean, it's just what it is.
Now let me ask you this question, because I'm looking at your scalp and I see your hair grow right out your skull.
Yes, yes.
And I'm just wondering, have you had a slightly, on the flip side of this experience, have you had a different experience where knowing that you are a mixed woman gave you a slight advantage in some cases?
Of course. I am not going to lie.
Yeah.
I sit up here, if I didn't say this, I wouldn't be 100% real. I know for a fact that because my hair looks this way and because my nose looks this, I just may have an advantage over a blacker or a darker sister. It's happened. I was sitting, and this has happened in interviews, so I know that it's so. Yeah. I was sitting in an interview at a doctor's office, and told the doctor that was going to hire me, we were having a panel interview, and he was asking about, you know, where I lived and da-da-da-da, and did I live close, and asking about my, you know, education and things of that nature. And then he looks at me and I said, what are your hobbies? And at the time I was doing full-figure modeling, you know, because I've always been real, you know, Zaftig all my life. So the doctor looks at me and says, full-figure model, wah, starts laughing. And I said, what's so funny about that? He says, well, I never would have thought that you'd be a full-figure model, you know, you know, you kind of high yellow, and you know, don't you get over it? And the conversation went totally south, and I had to bring him back to Jamaica and say, well, wait a minute. You know, we're not talking about that. I mean, but why would you even infer that? And he says, well, you know, we get over it because we're light. And I mean, what he was saying is true. It was kind of insulting.
Yeah. But it was true.
But what he was saying was very true.
And interestingly enough, you have to be excited that it's true when it's true for all the times that the pendulum swung the other way.
Of course, like I was telling you on the phone, we have a heated debate going on with my sisters of color over the weave thing. Okay. And they said, well, you know, you never need a weave, so that's why you against weaves. And I said, no, I'm against it. I've been bald. I've lost all my hair. You know, I've been against it because we hide. I said, what other culture do you know that goes and gets another woman's hair? Now, I know you sisters with weaves are going to have
white people definitely do it.
But that's the thing. I think everyone's the same now.
But what is it about our culture that, I mean, I know in Africa there's black women bleaching their skin because they don't want to be a certain color. What?
In Korea, they're getting eyelid surgeries so that they look more white.
Yeah, but you got white folk taking stuff from their butts and putting it in their lips because it's happening all over.
Yes, but at one time, but it's just a different way.
Can we put that on materialism?
Yeah, I think it's flipped the script now.
But it has something to do with identity. It also has something to do with what's being put out there in the media that says this is mainstream.
First of all, before, as a woman who is running around in this industry at this age and is I just had a conversation with a friend about this a couple of days ago, because it it is very. If you open Vogue, which is one of the biggest and highest, type of magazines, and they tell you that Iggy's butt and J-Lo's butt are the hottest butts, while Nicki and Salt and Pepper have been doing this for so long, and I'm not saying I will never glorify the fact that you talking about booty. I will never do that, but I will tell you have disrespected several women who have been themselves for so many years, and you tell them that they weren't sexy because this person was a little bit tighter, a little bit smaller, and a little bit.
But that's everything.
Yes.
Everything is. I've heard people get in cars and just say. I Uber drive part-time, and I've heard, I thought men are misogynists. Holy shit, women.
Women are really
Men don't
evil.
hold a candle to some of the things I've heard women talk about other women. Not a candle.
Yeah, it's very terrible because men come from a different perspective. They come from a physical, is she sexy, is she not? Women come from, I know what I have, so I'm going to compare it to what she has and what my friend, you know what I mean?
Is that just women in general, or do you find it more particularly it happens more amongst women of color?
No, I say women
I think it's women in general.
I heard it with white women and black women.
It's a woman.
It's a woman thing.
It's so
you know,
sad.
But by the same token, in the African American or community, we do have a tension between light skinned and dark skinned women.
Yes.
Right?
You know, the house, nigger, and the feet, God, I don't know if
we
this
said
is
it on air,
appropriate.
That was not Michael Teemant, still at 0.
And in the field,
Right.
and it's crazy that that we're to this day, massaging that. We are still Willie Lynch. We are still wrestling with this. That okay, I'm light, I'm right, you black, get back. I mean, it's like
But the light complexion individual is always the one that's been celebrated. I mean, I think that there is a psychological impact.
But then if you ask the light skinned individual, which I do, they don't like it. They don't. They feel, and I'm not gonna say they. I'm gonna say one of my good friends and I have had this argument, and I was like, "Girl, don't even try to come at me. This is how her I talk." And you're a lighter skinned woman, and now I don't necessarily think that overall. I was just coming at her because she was trying to say something, whatever. So she was like, "Stacy, like I always get that I'm not black and blah blah blah, and then my hair must be this, and I am black, and my black are like she's getting." Upset and this
that's what I'm talking about.
It's very interesting because I'm not trying to attack her at all. I know you're black girl, no problem. But she really, and her and a couple of my other really good friends who are lighter skinned, who have one of my good friends who is full figured black, has your hair texture. She gets pissed when people ask her what she's mixed with. She's like, "Are you serious?" She's like, "Do you want me to carry a picture of my parents?" It's so funny. She's very upset.
And do you get people that want to touch it?
This used to happen, but to me all the time. I've had people put their hand here. I'm going to touch you.
Okay.
Put their hand on my shoulder and then go up in the back of my neck.
Because
not even know me.
They're looking for a track, baby.
Not even know me, and I've had to say, "That is insulting. What are you doing? I don't know you."
Does it really matter if it's
really
real or fake hair?
No, it's a compliment to the weave industry because now they done start doing that stuff where you can tell.
Glued and pasted.
The lace front. If you got the edge out, you go.
I cut you off, Michael. What were you gonna say before? You said that was weird when I was talking about the story about my friend.
Oh, I just don't. I have to prove that was the weird thing. People going, but is Obama the first black? What?
I know. I know. It's crazy.
But like, why? Okay, so. This is my question to you guys more, and my ignorance is like, okay, so here, because, okay, I guess he was raised by white people. Like, why isn't he black? Shouldn't he be the guy everyone's going, look, he went to Harvard. He went to...
Because they're
like,
haters.
But why?
Haters.
Like, what do they want? An Obama being a stereotype, sagging his pants, drinking a 40? What do they want?
Well, there's some subcultures of the black community that would want that. They would want him to identify with that.
Crap.
He plays basketball.
For all of us here at the table that are of color, our dialect, our dialogue, our conversation it waxes eloquent.
Yes.
We will have some of our peers, maybe not our peers, but within our culture, that will look at us and tell us that we're trying to talk like white people.
Yes. That
See,
we're
but
bougie,
the Muslims, the black Muslims here, they're very educated. They talk well.
You know,
I would consider them black.
Yeah, and I would say
so would I.
Proper English. There's another English that I speak too. Ebonic. I speak Spanglish. I mean, and things are appropriate when you're around family and friends.
Sure.
I mean, there's some we speak all kind of Spanish, have English, have Spanish, that wouldn't be appropriate in a professional setting per se.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's something that we do, and we go back and forth because we've been told that, you know, to succeed, to, you know, don't show that you're ignorant, don't show. And I mean, colonialism in Puerto Rico, they dropped off slaves everywhere. But
okay? do you think that there's a degree of inauthenticity, and sorry for cutting you off, but do you think there's a degree of inauthenticity in that and having to play to the masses?
I love that question.
That's a great question.
And that's a great question.
Yes,
and I'm like, I don't even know if I'm not qualified to answer it because, whoa. But I think to your point about, you know, it might not be perceived as professional in certain areas.
Yes.
Wouldn't you say, based on 2 weeks ago what we saw on the bus, that probably wouldn't be perceived as professional? You know what I mean? Those students were very comfortable using certain language with their friends, just like black people do. You know what I mean? So let's take a Hispanic group of people who come to an office, know how to do their thing, the CEO, whatever. When he gets around his friends, he does his thing. She does her thing. Because there's not just, everyone has a degree of professionalism and fun. And I don't care, and everyone has a degree. It just looks different for us because we are
but language,
everybody has a version of ratchet. That's perfect.
I don't know if I'll go as far as
There's white ratchet. They're called trailer trash. They're all across America.
Trailer trash can dress it up and come to the office too. You know,
it's true.
I don't know.
Does that make us
inauthentic?
I disagree with it. I think that there's a pull for authenticity if you're ever going to have a clear identity in terms of who you are. So the question that we asked earlier, I think a black person is really in search of their identity. I think that we don't really know what it is. And I think it's the reason why we have these various subcultures and everyone's trying to express it, and everyone expressing it saying, this is real black. You know, I know sisters who still wear afros. They get mad if you get your hair pressed. They get mad if you get your hair sewn in or glued in, whatever, because they think that being black means being natural.
Roll eye. That's
crazy. You can't have an extensive vocabulary.
Just do what they want. I don't understand it.
Other people.
I think it's just a level of intolerance and ignorance to the difference.
Exactly.
And
that's crazy.
and it's to the point where it's just ridiculous that I need to morph, be like a transformer when I'm over here, and then I have to be over here. And I think it's something that authenticity that you bring when you're with people, you know, like people at I work in a diverse workplace. There's Asians, there's Hispanics, there's, you know, and as women we get along. And what I find a lot of times is that if someone else from another culture comes into our environment, then I see people shifting to how am I going to entreat this person so this person gives me what I want, or the banker accepts me, or, you know, this deal goes through. And I think everybody does that, but I think it's a little bit more intense sometimes.
But you get lost in it. The real question is, where are you in it? It's like the celebrity.
See, but that's
I think you can. When I worked in corporate America years ago, and I dibble and dabble in it now, I remember going in my closet saying, okay, who am I going to be today? You know, trying to figure out what I was going to wear.
But you don't think everybody does? That's the weird thing. I think white people do that too.
The fact that everyone does
we do not want to wear suits all the time.
But I don't have an issue.
I swear to God, it's not a white thing. We like shorts and flip-flops.
I don't have an issue. I don't have an issue with what white people do. I don't have an issue with what white people do. I got enough trying to figure out what black people do.
No, but that's my point.
Y'all do what y'all want to do. I'm saying I don't want to have the conversation. No, I'm saying I don't want to have the conversation with myself that says, who am I going to be? How do I have to tap dance on a razor blade to make sure we close this deal?
I think everybody does that.
You see me for who I am. Maybe everyone does it.
Because
I live with the tension as a black man of not wanting to do that.
No, okay, so don't.
Not wanting?
Well, I don't. I just say, well, you know, this is the way I do it.
So then what's
when
the
you
problem?
hire me, you get me.
Yeah.
So what's the problem then? If you personally wake up, put on the button down and the khakis, and that's what you want to do, then
but I mean, there's such a especially in California. Come on, this is the land of lovely. I mean, there's people that want you have to be perfect. This has to look a certain way. This, you know, and there's this illusion of perfection, half of it is fake. You know, and then when you meet a person that's authentic and brings you their real self, a lot of times that gets slapped down. Why should I worry for my hair straight, curly?
I agree.
I mean, what are you tripping about? You know. I'm me, and I'm coming at you as me. Now, if you don't accept that, well, that's okay. But that's where I've come at this point in my life. But when I was younger, you know, sometimes, I mean, I had in elementary school, when I first came here from New York City, my hair was way longer, and I used to put it in a knot, and I wouldn't wear my hair down because people were forever asking me where I was and who I was, and I'm a child. I'm here to learn. I'm trying to get my education on, and had a young lady chase me with them scissors to cut my ponytail off. I go home, I'm telling my mom, well, what is really going on? Because this is insanity.
All that hair ain't
These are all black people.
See, it ain't what you think it is. It ain't what they think it is it?
And I think it's interesting that you said subculture. You know, you mentioned the fact that there's no identity within a black culture, which is why there's subcultures. But I think that's unfair to say because I would be so pissed if we were all the same. That wouldn't make sense to me.
I love the diversity.
Like
subcultures are important.
I love the diversity, but I don't know that we embrace our diversity. I think that what we do,
you guys judge the other person for being different.
Judge the other person. Exactly. I definitely do. I think we do. I think that's why you have the light skin, dark skin thing, the good hair versus bad hair, the this versus that. I mean, I think you get that tension because we don't celebrate the diversity. And I think that we should begin to celebrate it, find out what is the commonality amongst us. I mean, as black people, what part of our culture do we choose to honor?
Yes, yes.
You know, what part of our history do we choose to honor so that we can kind of get a go-through? I can't put Martin Luther King.
1 month during
and we all dress like slaves and wear our dashikis in February.
That's usually the day, I think. Right,
you know, but I mean, I think it's got to go deeper than that. That's why the question that was raised at the top of the show was, you know, who are we as black people? How do we see ourselves? But that conversation is always seen through the filter of everything I've been through, not so much what I've come to and who I am. And I think that we need to wrap our minds around the I amness of being black.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you don't identify with what you've been through, then people don't think you're
down,
realistic
you're down for the cause.
I've definitely opted out of the down thing because I'm like, look, I'm not here to carry everyone's burden on my back because I'm grateful to the people who did that for me, who have paved the way so we can actually walk in it and not you know, wasted away with this, oh my God, like the man. I'm like, who is the man? Have you met the man? Do you know the man? Like, I'm not about that conversation. I've never been. I hate that conversation, you know, so.
And I think it's a mindset. I mean, I remember going to my people that live down south. You know, this is no knock on people that come from the south.
Oh, I'll knock on.
Hey,
I remember going, you know, to Texas, and honey, it was a hot mess. Because people were saying, "You're not from around here because you talk to people like you got good sense." And I said, pardon? What? I mean, what are you talking about? I talk to people. And it was just some ignorance. And I said, you know what? That was just downright ignorant. To say that to someone,
and
that
now
was
one of them's running.
I'm human. If you cut me, I'll bleed blood. I'm here to get something to eat. Can you help me?
Yeah.
We're just here, right?
We're just here. Let's not even go into that conversation. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? That's all we need to know here. You know,
that's all we do.
Yeah.
If you ever wanted a bigger example of, like, you've heard that from Goebbels, from you know, Hitler's right hand man, if you want to make a lie the truth, just repeat it enough times. And that's what race is. It's lasted over 280 years since they started this invention of race, and we are still perpetuating it all the time. I check none of the above on all those race things every time because I think it's
your name
dumb.
is Michael Teemant. Nobody's gonna think you're a brother. I'm just saying.
People they have especially thought when they hear Michael, they look and they're like, oh, white kid? They do not understand
Teemant,
looking at my name. They think
black.
they assume black or Jewish. One of the
Because
two.
it looks like some ethnic.
It looks like an ethnic
Like they
spelling.
went through a black book for names for boys.
Michael, is
Right?
my name? Is there a meaning behind
Yeah,
your name?
it's Estonian. It's Michael in Estonian. But
Oh,
because
so
of the
So
spelling.
you do have attachments to being Estonian.
Sure, I guess. It's my name. It's
See,
just my name.
It's what we call fact checking. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Black Tea Party, and you have heard this conversation. I'm thankful for y'all.
yeah, me too.
Y'all make me feel a little bit more black tonight. I'm gonna lay my head down.
I feel more white.
I may wake up with an afro tomorrow. But before we go, we hope that you've been intrigued and just edified, somehow touched, moved, and inspired by this conversation. Stacy, tell them once again where they can reach you.
You guys can check me out on Instagram and Twitter at OneTakeStace. Make sure you tweet me throughout the week.
Mike?
At Mihkel Teemant, MihkelTeemant.com. I'll be at Infusion Lounge this weekend, and next Friday and Monday I'll be in Vegas. So doing stand-up there. Oh, I won't be here next week. Sorry, guys.
And to the Afro-Latina.
Yeah, to the Afro-Latina, te quiero decir gracias por todo, amores. Y you can catch me at www.bootybutter.com. BootyButter.com.
You said booty butter in Spanish, didn't you?
Yes.
You
well,
did?
no, it's really the word for booty in Spanish. You might not be too cool.
We'll talk about it.
I want to know now.
You can reach me at Don's Daily Dose on Twitter. This is Black Tea Party, the Black Tea Party, where we're just black and we drink tea. We'll catch you next week.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
See ya.
From producers Maria Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, culo is ass. Yeah, culo.
One in my
Views
back pocket
expressed
in
here are
case.
those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.